Well, so what exactly does Northern Illinois bring to the table? We'll break down the Huskies' offense, defense, and how they'll try to challenge Mississippi State on Saturday.
You are Locked On Mississippi State, your daily podcast on the Mississippi State Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, my name is Jaron Spor. I'm a national college football writer at Athlon Sports. That's Landon McBride. We got a preview show for you today. We're going to talk about the defense of the Northern Illinois Huskies. Also, in our Next Up in Starkville segment, we're going to reveal our score prediction. But first, let's start with the offense. Landon, we've talked about this many times when previewing the Northern Illinois matchup. They were gutted on every side of the football. I believe they're last in returning production or near the bottom. So they're not returning a whole lot from last year's really actually pretty good team that went 8-5. They're 1-1 to start, 2-point win against Holy Cross, lost 20-9 to Maryland. Josh Hoist, just some key players. Josh Hoist is the quarterback. He's completing 65% of his passes, 192 yards, no touchdowns, one interception. They have not thrown a passing touchdown yet this season. Yeah. Remember, they've only played in 2 games. They did have a bye week before taking on Mississippi State. The running game is kind of where they excel. They got Chovan Wright at 167 yards and 1 touchdown, and Telly Johnson Jr., who played for them as a freshman last year, 153 yards and 1 touchdown. Both are averaging 4.4 yards per carry or more. Again, not a lot of passing numbers, but Dre, I believe is how you pronounce it, Rogers kind of seems to be the only really receiving threat. He has 10 catches, 89 yards. The next highest is 5 catches for Poe, which is one of the running backs, Jalen Poe. So out of the receivers, he's got 10. Gary Givens has 2. Demo Polis, I believe is how you pronounce it, 2 catches. Another wide receiver, LaDon Bryant, 1 catch. So it's pretty much Dre Rogers is pretty much the only threat at receiver.
I believe that's Demopoulos.
Yeah, Demopoulos. Yeah, it could be George Demopoulos.
Yeah, they're a running team, and they do a lot of zone read, but it seems like on those zone reads, almost every time it's a give. Like, it doesn't seem like, so, I mean, you look at Hoist's rushing numbers, he's gained his 18 attempts for 44 yards. So even when he pulls it, he's not getting a ton. So it is mostly just these running backs.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just those 2 running backs also, because after that, like Jalen Poe has 2 carries for 22 yards. So it's really Wright and Telly Johnson. That's the whole team for them right now. And their offensive line isn't very good either. But obviously they're doing some things well in the running game. I mean, because those guys have almost 300 yards combined just with them 2. Or, yeah, they have over 300 yards combined for just them 2. So they are one of the better teams in the country, honestly. I'll be interested. I'm going to have to look this up real quick, but I'm interested to see where they would actually rank nationally because they're there.
Yeah, they are a very good rushing team. Offensive line wise, I mean, they have a junior, 2 seniors, and 2 sophomores on the offensive line. So they have some experience there. So it's not like they're a brand new line. I'm not sure how many games these 2 sophomores have really played outside of this year. So, I mean, again, we keep running in these teams that are kind of hard to preview either because we don't have anything to go off of, like in the first game, or last week with it being an FCS school. It's kind of hard to really compare what they're going to do. And now we have a team that is essentially a whole new team from last year with only 2 to go on. So eventually we'll be able to preview an offense a little bit better, but this is just.
They're the hardest one to preview because they lost almost everyone and they didn't bring a ton of players from one school. Like Southern Miss, we could just preview what Marshall did.
Yeah.
because that's essentially all it was. And real quick, Northern Illinois ranks 59th in rushing offense. So at 179 yards a game.
Figured it'd be higher just looking at those numbers, but
Yeah, I did
they are
too.
they are one game behind everyone, so that can
Well, this one is off yards per game. So,
never mind.
but but on the, on the flip side, though, with it is outside of those two running backs, like you mentioned, the other guys on the list haven't done anything. So that obviously hurts as well.
Yeah.
But, and Maryland is like the best one to kind of look at
Mm-hmm.
in terms of because you can't take much from their Holy Cross performance.
No.
In that game, they had 48 carries, 180 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, that'll play. That's a really good rushing game. Now, they had 14 of 22, 91 yards passing. So they had 271 yards of total offense. It's I mean, Wright had 90 yards on 27 carries. Telly Johnson had 86 yards on 10 carries, 8.6 yards a carry. So very good rushing game for them. And Maryland, they're not a world beater either. Maryland's not a great team. So, like you mentioned, it's very hard to preview a team like this.
Yeah, their offense, I mean, honestly, it's anemic. They have two running backs who had a massive opening week and then didn't do a ton. I mean, they put up 9 points the second week. That's not much you can do there. And you mentioned it, Maryland, not some dominant team that you expect to shut someone down like that. And these receiving numbers are just, they hurt to look at. I mean,
it's Rodgers or nothing.
I mean, 200 total yards across all of your receivers in 2 games. So you're averaging 100 yards receiving for the team per game.
Which I want to point out, of his 10 catches, 7 of them came against Holy Cross. So really not good numbers.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, you look at the Holy Cross game and you see they had 180 yards against Maryland on the ground. You would think, okay, well, Holy Cross, they would have done more. On almost the same carries, they had 178 yards. So they're like the same team rushing. And they had 3 fumbles in the game. They only turned it over 1 time, though, but they did have 3 fumbles. They had 7 penalties in the game. In that game, Chovan Wright led the team with 77 yards on 7 yards a carry. Telly Johnson had 67 yards on 3.2 yards per carry. So they kind of flipped with their performance. But yeah, I mean, it's stop this rushing attack and you should win by 30, 40 points.
I mean, with Rodgers being the only target, put Kelly Jones on him and his pass allowed percentage might just jump up even more. I mean, this is not, I mean, I don't want to be too mean, but this is not an offense. This is
right.
This is straight. They're just running like zone read and the guy's giving it 75% of the time.
Yeah. And to the point of to give some credit to Northern Illinois, Mississippi State isn't a great run defense. We said they're 27th in total defense. They're 81st in rush defense. They allow 140 yards per game. So I think this is going to be a game that Northern Illinois is really going to try to shorten the game as much as they possibly can.
That's what they're going to have to do to stay in it. And that's also a great strategy anytime you're trying to upset a team. And when you're dealing with the loud crowd noise, which is something their head coach talked a ton about in his press conference, you run the ball. You don't have to worry about changing plays as much or, anything. Everything's a zone read, handoff, or option. I mean, it's real easy to not jump off sides on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, we got to talk about the defense, something that was a very good unit last season. What are they looking like this year? We will talk about it. All right, this episode is brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward is, I'm going with the Seth Davis play. I keep talking about it. I talked about it in a couple of other reads that we've had, and I talked about it a lot on Monday's episode. That play, I mean, just because of everything Davis has gone through, obviously the season-ending injury his freshman year, then missed all of last season. Still not 100%, but he gets to come in against Alcorn State. Blowout game. You give him some carries. He goes for a little over 30 yards and has like a yard touchdown run. And then after the game, they showed the emotional moment of him getting the game ball, and he's crying. He's just been through a lot, and I think those are the stories that we love as fans to see. People overcoming adversity. So when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. The weather is cooling down, the days are getting shorter, and that has me wanting to make my home feel even cozier. And when it comes to cozifying your space this fall, Wayfair is the place to go. Wayfair has everything you need to set the mood for the season, whether it's comfy recliners, warm bedding, autumn decor, or even an espresso machine so you can make your favorite latte at home. I know when I moved up from Texas to where I'm at now, I bought a lot of stuff at Wayfair. I bought a new couch. I bought entertainment center. I went to Wayfair and bought a ton of stuff, new stuff for my desk and things like that. They were my go-to shop, and it was cheap. It was affordable for someone that was moving away. And so I just loved everything about it. The app was really easy to figure out what I want. I bought outdoor furniture because I went from an apartment to a house. So what I love most, though, is the variety. Wayfair has options for every style and budget, so you don't have to compromise. The delivery was fast, free, and hassle-free, which makes a huge difference when you're refreshing your home. It also was really easy to put together all that stuff. So that was awesome. It's the perfect time to set up your home for fall so you can enjoy cozy nights in with family and friends. Cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates. From comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor, you'll find it all for way less at wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right, Landon, let's at least look at the defense, because the defense was the fourth best defense, I believe, in college football last year.
Very good.
Again, lost a ton, but the one thing that they did return from last year's team, at least they have still a lot of it, is the defensive line, and it is very good. But so far through 2 games, Northern Illinois, they ranked 37th in total defense. So despite all the change, the defense is still playing good football.
Yeah, the defense is playing really good, and they're a very good run defense, which is, we've talked about a lot. We think that should be what Mississippi State builds their offense on. And so this is a good early season test. Are you actually a rushing team? And if you can put some actual yardage on against this team, even though we're not sure how good this team is as a whole, the defense is solid and the run defense is good.
Yeah, and not only is they also don't, not only are they good at just, run defense, total defense, they don't allow a lot of points. Do you know the last time they allowed 30 or more points?
No, I couldn't say no.
October 31st of 2023.
That's a long time.
They have not allowed 30 since then, and that was against Central Michigan on a road in a game that they lost. So far this year, they allowed 17 against Holy Cross and 20 against Maryland. I mean, their defense, they do a lot of good things, and so that's not, it's not going to be easy. Now, part of it is I think they're, especially this year more so, is because they run the ball so successfully, they can kind of control the clock. But some guys just to know is Quentin Urweiler, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He leads the team with 20 tackles, linebacker. He's 1 tackle for loss and half a sack. Muhammad Jamah, he's second with 11 tackles and 1 interception. He has the only turnover forced on the season. Well, I guess they got a fumble recovery as well. So they have 2 turnovers forced. They're not a team that gets a lot of sacks. They have 2 sacks on the entire season, and they don't get a lot of They get I would say a decent amount of TFLs, not a ton, but they do a pretty good job at that. But yeah, they don't get a lot of sacks.
Yeah, 2 sacks, decent amount of tackles for loss. Other thing I noticed, a lot of pass breakups.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 7 pass breakups. So I mean, they get their hands on the ball. Some of safeties, corners, linebackers, all kinds. I mean, everywhere, every position is getting their hands on the ball when it's in the air.
Yeah.
So they're not doing anything that's super flashy in terms of huge sack numbers, huge turnover numbers, but they're very sound defensively, which those are the toughest teams to run out of the
They don't
building.
beat themselves.
Yeah, if you don't beat yourself, you make the tackles you're supposed to make. It's hard to run those teams out of the building. And so even though I think Mississippi State can, it's not going to be easy because this team isn't going to just give you points.
It's again going to come down to what we talked about in the first segment. If you stop the run, I think you can run them out and be the first team to score over 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier said than done, because if they're running the football well and they're controlling the clock, and then they have a defense that is a pretty good defense, who again is not going to beat themselves. And if you make some of the dumb mistakes that we have seen them do, Mississippi State do at times, which hasn't bit them yet, then this game can get uncomfortable going to the fourth quarter. Now, with that being said, if you can at least just limit the rushing attack, I just don't see any way that this game is close, even with I do have a lot of respect for their defense and for Coach Hammock.
Yeah, he's put together a very good squad, and I agree with you. I don't see any way this stays close, because even if this becomes some kind of shootout where you can't stop the run, as good as this defense is, I don't think they can keep up in terms of, even if you have an issue stopping the run, this defense is going to have a hard time stopping your rushing attack and your passing attack, because they have 2 turnovers, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery. They do have 3 quarterback hits. So I know Roy Williams has 1 other sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 quarterback hits. So he's probably the defensive player to watch for in terms of who on that line could actually disrupt what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and we talked about earlier this week, again, I want to see Mississippi State kind of build on the success they had in the run game last week. And this would be a good challenge, because Northern Illinois ranks 13th in rush defense, but they're 67th in pass defense. So they kind of struggle against the pass, and they do excel against the run. That's why I think, even though it is a lower tier program and a lower tier team, if you have success running the football, that will give you a lot of confidence going into SEC play.
Yeah, I agree with that. So this is one of those ones where we're kind of in that same place we talked about with Alcorn State. Come out here and prove you're the better team quickly, so you don't give them hope.
Yeah.
This is the type of defense that if you give them hope, they're going to start flying around even more, which, like you mentioned, they're very sound. They don't beat themselves, not a ton of penalties, make the tackles they're supposed to make. If you let that team get some belief, that's a defense you don't want to go against.
Yeah, for sure. All right, can Northern Illinois pull off the upset? Landon and I will give our predictions coming up next.
This episode is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home. Whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades, these are the places that bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. And I love coffee. Any of you who have watched this show long enough know I have, at some point you've seen me with a coffee mug. And one of my favorite places to get a cup of coffee is Strange Brew Coffee House. Grown globally, but it's all roasted right here in Mississippi. It's a great coffee, so check them out. And another place, one of my favorite ways to celebrate a Mississippi State win is with the cigar. Spring Street Cigars, great place. Stop by. They have a great selection. Check them out. And those local spots are what make the neighborhood feel like home. And so many of them run on Square. And Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square. See you in the neighborhood. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP, Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered the most. Let's break it down. For Mississippi State, Fluff Bothwell delivered in a big way in the last game. 12 carries for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had the hot hand, really led the team in rushing, had a very good reception, juked half the team to get a few yards. It was a great game for Fluff. When the pressure was on, he came through, no hesitation, no delay. If you've been watching week after week, this performance wasn't a fluke. Fluff has been on a streak. Just like Fluff delivered for Mississippi State, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash Streaks. You save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18.
Well, thanks for making Locked On Mississippi State your first listen every single day, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Landon, what's going to go down on Saturday?
So as much as we've talked about how good this defense is and how long it's been since they've given up 30 points, I think this is the next time they do it. I'm picking Mississippi State 38, Northern Illinois 10.
I like that. I also think this is a game that Mississippi State gets over 30 and finally is the team that can do that to Northern Illinois. I think they're able to shut down the run for the most part. I do think they will have some success, Northern Illinois, rushing the football. If I want to see Mississippi State dominate the run game, I keep saying it, but I want to see that happen. Mm-hmm. I think they'll have success. I think they'll run for over 150 yards in the game, and I think Mississippi State will win the game. I went 41-13, so I went a little higher, which I should have looked
3
up.
3 point higher in both of them.
Yeah, I should have went and looked up when's the last time they allowed 40 points in a game, because 30 has been obviously been a long time for them, but 40 could, maybe even be longer. But yeah, I just think it's just there's too many unknowns for Northern Illinois, and they did have a week off to kind of round the troops and get them regrouped. But I just think there's a lot of stuff that they have to work through still.
Yeah, and there's a big talent discrepancy. They lost by 11 points to Maryland. I think Mississippi State's a significantly better team than Maryland. So, I mean, you're at home, you got the cowbells, still we'll be rocking. I mean, hey, everyone said we were crazy. This team was going to go 4-0. We're staring at it right now. And they take care of business. They're going to do it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go for 200. I mean, the two-headed monster of Booth and Bothwell is just a lot for anyone to handle, and the running styles are so different. You can see them both break out.
Yeah. And I looked it up. Last game of 2022 is the last time they allowed 40 points. So, been a long time. So, I just think they're going to have success. And I think it's going to be kind of similar to the Southern Miss game, where if they don't have success running the football, I just think passing-wise, they should have a really big game. They should be able to shred Northern Illinois' defense in the passing game. I already mentioned their defensive their pass defense isn't great. Their run defense is where they kind of make their money. And they haven't played a team this year that should have really challenged them in the passing game, and still they're not great. Mississippi State will challenge you in the passing game, and then they're up tempo with that. I just think it's just too much of an overmatch, really.
Yeah, there's no one on that team that could run with Evans and Thompson in the open field. So
which that should help the run game.
So, yeah, if they got to keep some safeties back, you're definitely going to get some, one-on-one matchups for your blockers. Just mowing through those people. Should have a little bit of a size advantage on the offensive line to the defensive line to where you can really control it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the first couple series are really rough because, like we mentioned, they're a very good defensive team, had the extra week to prepare. Maybe they kind of have like some bespoke coverages and blitz packages and stuff. But once they get through that and it has to be more of their base defense, I think Mississippi State will start to really get moving.
Yeah, no, I agree. And let's get to that 4-0 and let's get game day here next week for Mississippi State and Tennessee. But all right, it's another big moment on Locked On College Football fans. Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. The college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. I'm Jaron. Check out my work over on Athlon Sports. That's Landon. Follow us, Locked On Mississippi State. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Post daily videos Monday through Friday, so check those out. We're also on every single audio platform you can think of. We're out there as well, so like us on those. and share with your friends as well. And yes, we post pregame and postgame reaction videos on Saturdays when there's a game, obviously. And so check those out. And yeah, until next time, Hail State.
Hail State.